Okay, well, welcome to episode 7 of Tall in the Saddle podcast. I would like to take the opportunity, like I have in the past, to remind everybody that we are still fundraising for National Center for Healthy Veterans and Valor Farms to get our barn up and built, and a couple other projects that we are still fundraising for. So we have a banner campaign to hang your business banner in our arena. We have a brick campaign to sponsor a brick in someone's name that will pave the patio of our between our barn and our arena. And then we are also doing, there's one other fundraiser that I'm drawing a blank with, but go to the website, check it out, get involved, see if you can be a part of that and help us get things rebuilt here at Valor Farm. So today on episode 7, I get to introduce a friend of mine once again, Dr. Jeffrey Lowes, chiropractor, business owner of Virginia Sport and Spine, Liberty graduate, a husband, a father, a Canadian.
And American.
That's true, and American.
Yes.
And most of all, and importantly, a follower of Christ.
Absolutely.
So it is my honor to welcome Jeff to the podcast today. Today's episode, we're going to touch on business. We've had a lot of guests so far, and the topics have been varied, and that's awesome. And today we get to go down the path of business and hear your story about how you developed the model for your current business, which is thriving and very successful. And I've heard such good things about it. And so let's dive in. I think where I want to start today is the education, how you got to where you are now, and probably we could start with college and just kind of kick it off there. So
okay,
the floor is yours.
Well, before I get to that, obviously appreciate the invite and Bobby's friendship, and obviously just driving in here was really cool. Sunset, even though there was construction on the main road.
Oh yeah.
Man, just what you're doing out here is it's beautiful, and so excited for you guys and just the mission that's here. So I appreciate the invite. So.
Yeah, I love when especially my friends or my family come on property for the first time who have never been out here, because we see it every day and we take it for granted and at times. And God is really at work here and has brought beauty out of ashes. You can always see behind us on the walls, the pictures change from time to time as this room is ever evolving, but most everybody knows our story. We lost our building, our facility, and our operations with a fire about a year ago this week, right before Veterans Day, and we lost everything. So to see good come from that is pretty special, and we're very proud of it, and we love showing it off. So we're glad to have you here.
That's awesome.
And checking it out. We'll get you on a horse pretty soon.
I did many years ago. Actually, and probably that ties it in, because I asked Bobby before I came, should I bring my cowboy hat? Although I don't think I have one. But I am a city slicker at heart. But growing up, ironically, as a chiropractor, true story that most people don't know, my first introduction to chiropractic, my grandfather actually had horses.
Really?
In Canada, Ontario. He was in the dairy industry for, I don't know, however long. And he sold his he sold his farm, and then got into kind of like hobby, but into harness racing.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah, and so we'd go there in the summer. I think my parents just wanted us to get our hands dirty. But
out of curiosity, where in Ontario? Now that I know a little bit about it.
Cobourg, Port Hope area, right off of 401.
Okay.
Down east of Toronto.
Okay.
But we've spent a lot of time in Toronto, Woodbine, and some of the big
I know that.
tracks up there. I know it's a Christian podcast, but my grandparents may have taught me how to gamble.
Yeah.
Before it was legal, I'd go up and pick my winners, and I was actually pretty good at it. But
we pass a track going to Courtney's.
Yeah.
It's on the left-hand side of the road. I can't remember if it's a 401 or the.
Probably one of the big ones.
It's a big one, right on the highway.
Yeah, Woodbine,
interesting.
Probably. Yeah. So all that to say, my first introduction was my grandfather would have the vet and also the veterinarian chiropractor come out, once a month.
Oh, wow.
And if anyone's seen it, it's unbelievable, because they climb up on bales of hay, and it's just leaning into the horse. They acupuncture, dry needling on the horses as well, and these massive muscles when you get the manipulation or you get the tissue release, like it's this big quiver. It's pretty amazing. They actually say animals respond better to manual therapy than humans do.
I have peeked behind that curtain a little bit. Our veterinarian, Dr. Natalie, that visits here, does chiropractic adjustments. She has worked on our horses before. I've not seen the needling in person, but what I do find fascinating to see is when the adjustment happens to the animal, the look, the expression on their their face.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. So
yeah, they say that animals don't have the mental stress that you and I do, so they respond so much faster and quicker to it than us unpacking all the chaos of life. And obviously, what are you doing at this facility, right? Helping veterans deal with that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So you had some experience growing up. So
so that was my first introduction. Who would have known? First full circle. So hockey was my sport of choice. As a Canadian, you kind of were forced to, and had the opportunity to actually come down to Liberty to play hockey.
Yep.
And it was my junior year, I guess. Had a shoulder injury, and team doctor at the time, like, you need surgery. And so we were going home for a Christmas break at the time. And so my parents took me to their chiropractor. Never been, didn't even know what they were. I was doing PT like everyone and going into the exercise science field. Not that I was against PT, but went and saw one for 2 weeks while I was home for break, and knock on wood, to this day, I've not had surgery on my shoulder. And that kind of piqued my interest. Had some mentors while I was in undergrad, hooked me up with some local chiros to do some internships and shadowing, and thought this is something I might be interested in doing.
Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon. I know when I was in the clinical side of it in an office, a lot of the new grads had some type of physical problem where they saw a specialist and they were like, hey, they helped me. That meant a lot to me. And that kind of directed their path for school and how they got to become a chiropractor or PT or you name it. So it's pretty cool. So, if you were at Liberty doing that, what did it look like to navigate off of that path?
Yeah, so obviously graduate undergrad, and you have the prerequisites to go on to grad school. So I chose to go back up north to a chiro school in the state of New York. It was closer to home, and it actually was a very good school, New York Chiropractic. 3.5 years there. While in New York, had the opportunity to actually intern at the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid.
Oh, wow.
So working with the best of the best, how they train, how they eat, how they rehab. So that kind of just helped jumpstart me a little bit, along with some of the other clinicals that we had at the time. And then from there, graduated, had the opportunity to either go to Michigan, my guy here behind the cameras, or Upper Peninsula, or come back to Lynchburg, and joined a practice here in Lynchburg, and had the connections with Liberty, and then got back into the hockey world. That was fun, coaching, because I coached while I was in undergrad, and while I was in grad school, actually, in New York. Came back, joined the coaching staff at Liberty, because I was kind of just building my patient base. And then the practice was going well. It was a good practice that I joined, but I really wanted to get into the sports world. And so we had just some different ideas, and so kind of really dove into the functional movement systems, rehab, sport performance, and that really kind of took me down a rabbit hole. Met some really cool people, and that kind of pushed me to, hey, maybe I might want to do this on my own. Now, having the interaction with Liberty and sports medicine, you're 21 now, kind of crazy, seeing what elite sports science, sports medicine look like. So you have your PT, you have your nutritionist, you have your sports psychologist, you have your doctors, orthopedists, athletic trainers, how they all work together. I'm like, man, it works so well and we get great results. Why can't we do that for the general public? And that was kind of the driving force behind, hey, Virginia Sport and Spine might be a way to do that. So, and here we are.
Yeah, I do find that I have a little bit of background in some of this stuff. So I've always a little bit. I've always
more than a little bit. Be humble.
I've always wondered in the back of my mind. You talk about the sports medicine side of it, how we treat the athlete because they are, let's just say, valuable to whatever they're doing. The team, the brand, and of course, as you grow in the professional level, you are a number value, monetarily value
Absolutely.
to the organization. And we treat them differently than the public. So I was always fascinated, especially being a patient at different points in time in my life and seeing how your business operated. You treat the client in that manner of, look, we want to make you whole, and we're going to provide other services under our roof to facilitate that, versus I'm going to offer one simple thing over and over and over and over and over again. And if you go see a specialist or you go see someone, you want to be fixed. You don't want to keep, there will be things that you have to keep coming back for inevitably, but I do appreciate the way y'all go about it. And you're like, you have different specialties there. You have sports medicine, a doctor, you have PT, chiropractic, so there's different avenues I can take once I get under your care.
Yeah, and it's a blessing and a curse. And I have this conversation with our team, and our team is man, I'm a little biased, but I think the best of the best. And so I'm very, very blessed. The Lord kind of brought a lot of people in at the right time. I always, I don't think it's by accident. I know it's not by accident. And so, yes, we have chiropractic, we have athletic training, we have physical therapy. We actually are now doing hyperbaric, which has been really fun. Yeah, especially with some of the veterans and some of the struggles that we see with PTSD and things that go along with that. But then we also have our strength and conditioning coaches. But we all have the same mantra. We have the same evaluation process. We speak the same language. So no matter who you see, you're going to get this consistent, we call it the strategy on how we attack things. Now, we all have our different. Some people like certain techniques and different ways to rehab and treat, but we all have the same system that we follow in coming up with a diagnosis and what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's super important because, the traditional model looks like, you go in, you get an adjustment, and you leave. Yeah. But as we know, and I would hope, we could educate people to adjust a joint or to do a manipulation without addressing the muscle. It's just you're not treating the whole problem.
Sure.
And you guys give the opportunity to educate along the way. So sending someone home with exercises, but also having someone show you how to do that instead of just giving you a printout and saying, do these leg lifts or do these arm raises or whatever. You don't know why. No one showed you how.
Yeah. I think obviously we blame a lot of it on the medical model, and insurance plays a part in that. But ultimately, where it comes down to for us is in being around the sports world, right? Today is Thursday, right? We got a big football game in 2 days. And so
hockey tomorrow,
hockey tonight, actually tomorrow. Yeah, we got 5 days of hockey. We've got field hockey's playing in their conference championship. Soccer's into the finals. So we've got all these sports and athletes, and so these athletes get dinged up.
Yes.
And unfortunately, our medical model says, hey, let's take a pill, let's just relax, take 2 weeks off, and things will go away. Well, in the sports world, we don't have that luxury.
Right.
So if we're not doing everything in our power with all the different skills and different treatments and modalities we have, then we're not doing everything for our athlete. And that's kind of the same philosophy we bring to our practice where, hey, yes, rest is never a bad thing, but could we be a little bit more proactive?
Correct.
And so in our sessions, our hope is that we've done everything in our power that day, that time, to get as much improvement as we possibly can.
Yeah, it's good. Full disclosure, I've been treated by you and some of the staff, and I can attest to the fact that, it is a good model and it's effective. And I just appreciate the fact that the public gets to have an opportunity to experience that versus just athletes. Because you guys probably could stay busy with just athletes.
Yeah, we get asked all the time. The comment, it probably hurts us a little bit. Like people are like, do I have to be an athlete to come see you? And I'm like, yes, but no. You don't have to be an athlete, but you have to be willing to put the efforts and do the things that an athlete's going to do after our session.
That's a very good point.
Because unfortunately, this is not about, we have to take ownership for our condition, for our health. And some people want to, and others sometimes are just looking for the feel-good stuff. So
that is something I've struggled with in the past in my work life is you feel frustrated because especially when I'm currently in home health a little bit, and in home health there's not a lot of carryover with compliance to say a home exercise program or maintenance or whatever. So you can feel like you're hitting your head up against a wall because you want to help so bad, but that responsibility to do what you're told after is so important.
Absolutely.
So important. Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. I want to talk about some of the, you've just mentioned a couple things that I didn't even realize you had on site now at your place. So hyperbaric, let's touch on that for a minute. Explain a little bit. Let's not dive too deep because we can nerd out, but talk about hyperbaric. Tell us what you have currently and some of the things you're treating.
So there's a lot of different types of hyperbaric treatment. The depth that you can go, oxygen concentrated or pure oxygen. So there are different protocols. But basically the premise behind it is when you go in a hyperbaric, basically it's like you're diving under the sea. So anyone that's scuba dived or they've done free diving or whatever, when you go down under the sea or under the water below sea level, basically the atmospheric pressure goes up.
Correct.
And when that happens, it's pushing gases into your tissues. And so the premise is that when you go in a hyperbaric environment, it's taking you down, increasing that pressure. You're pushing oxygen that's in your bloodstream, either attached to your red blood cells, or what's the real cool thing is that you actually get more oxygen that basically gets into your plasma.
Okay.
And that basically it's not infinite, but a significantly greater amount of oxygen that can be carried in the plasma.
Okay.
And when it's under pressure, it can actually cross the blood-brain barrier.
Okay.
So for post-concussion, PTSD, just overall just awareness and alertness, tissue healing, bone healing, wounds are things where we're actually seeing some benefits from it. I'll
go on a little bit of what I know just so it helped me in my education. Is your chamber is it soft or?
It is a soft chamber, and it only goes down 1.3 atmospheres. Okay. So it's basically the lowest dosage, but that actually is clinically significant. Okay. So for a lot of folks that maybe can't handle increased pressures, so we can't help people with like the bends after they've been in like scuba diving industry because it just doesn't go deep enough. Right. But for healing properties, it's more than adequate.
So I had a friend in the NFL that I grew up with, and he was telling me about, this was a while back, he's since out, but he had bought himself, he was very smart about his money. He bought himself a soft chamber, kept it in his apartment or his house, got in it, I think every night, to be honest with you. And he said, Bobby, the bumps and bruises that used to nag me, pretty much gone. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So where I was first introduced to it, I had the opportunity to some of the things, communities that both you and I have kind of traveled in the golf world. I get the opportunity to work with the U.S. Open medical staff, and so we have a hyperbaric medicine operator that travels with us at all the U.S. Opens
on a trailer.
No, it's actually just a free, and we actually bring it into the tents where we do our treatment. Wow. And so we were seeing the effects just in like a 1 week span where these athletes would come in and they would do it 3, 4, 5 days. And the reports that they were coming up with, I'm like, wow, like there's something to this. And
how long does someone sit?
Typically an hour is a normal treatment. But if you have your own, or, we have some folks where they're going really focused care where they might do an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. Or if they have it on their own, sleeping in it, or, watching movies. I have some of our athletes when they come in for a couple weeks, like almost like a mini training camp between tournaments or whatever, usually a couple hours a day for like a week, and they're a different person.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool. Yeah. We have sent some of our Patriots here on property. We had I was a little bit before me, but they had something worked out where I think they were going to Charlottesville and utilizing that deal. And, we had a couple guys had some pretty interesting responses to it. Yeah. So I can attest to it as well. All right. So and that's open to the public?
It is. We've been using it for years with our athletes. Sure. And obviously, going through all the med legal hoops. We
bet.
finally got all that cleared, and we've now been able to actually offer it to the general public. So it's been some cool cases.
Wow. Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, I mean, you could potentially have more than one, I would think, when people realize how successful they are.
There's a chance.
Yeah,
Well,
cool. What else are you guys offering that's not wouldn't be considered run of the mill? Because that's not, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the big one. Obviously, a lot of your other recovery and soft tissue techniques, from compression pants and sleeves to dry needling to cupping to active release, those types of things, just in collaboration with, some of our other, rehab modalities, and then obviously our training.
Okay. All right. Let's touch on another thing that's unique that we said earlier with the TPI program.
Yeah.
So explain to the viewers what TPI is and then what you guys do with TPI.
Sure. So a big part of our fundamental kind of principles is the functional movement systems, or functional movement screen.
Yep.
Basically, it's 7 movements that allow us to assess the full body and how it moves, compensations, discrepancies side to side, things like that.
It's a humbling screening.
It is. But it gets us very quickly to identify, in your rehab kind of experience, that when someone comes in and they say they've got pain, say in a hip, like, we're so ingrained to focus on the hip. Now, they had a traumatic event. They fall off a horse. They have an accident. Okay, maybe there's trauma to the hip.
Right.
But how many of the people that you've treated and that I treat, there was no trauma? It's just this woke up one morning, or it was a gradual progression. And so we know then that, okay, something is compensated over the years or days or weeks or whatever, that if we don't address that, we can make the hip feel really good short term, but the minute we go back to our activities, it's most likely coming back.
Yeah.
So all that to say, one of the founders of the functional movement system, which ironically is actually in Chatham, Virginia, which I don't know if you knew that, FMS headquarters is in Chatham, Virginia.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so just down 29. Well, Gray Cook and Lee Burton, 2 of the founders, still live there. One of the other 4 founders was Dr. Greg Rose. And so he's a chiropractor engineer that started basically the functional movement screen for golf. He moved from Maryland out to California, Carlsbad area. They have a beautiful 30 acres of just pristine golf.
It's insane.
Richness. It's unbelievable. They test all the golf balls out there. It's a golfer's paradise.
It's a mecca. Yeah. Like in Scotty Cameron's deal there somewhere on property.
Yeah.
So
Volke's there making all the wedges. It's pretty cool. They just went through a multi-million-dollar renovation that they're just finishing. So they've come up with this basically screen for golfers that looks at everything from ankles and hips to shoulders to wrists, eyesight, you name it, eye dominance, down the line. And so because there's, I forget how many, it's thousands and thousands of golfers that are actually sponsored by Titleist. So these guys here in Carlsbad can't handle them all. So they've come up with this education process that basically has people all over the world that follow the system. So we had the opportunity to get into it early on. I'm actually working with a young Liberty golfer at the time. His name's Kieran Vincent. Came in as this little skinny South African kid, pretty good at golf, but just unassuming.
Still pretty good at golf.
He's still very good. Actually, he's right now he's second. He's playing at an international series event in the Philippines right now, having a great year. So he had some issues that we had the opportunity to work with, and since then I've been able to kind of work with him. He's year 3 in his professional career. But all that to say, Titleist has come up with this movement screen, fitness testing, also looking at the golf swing, and putting all these variables together to get very specific with how you actually attack the golfer to get them out of pain and make them more efficient and more effective on the course.
And something that makes your deal unique, because if you don't have the ability to implement, it's set up to where just about anybody, if you're certified, can do it.
Yep.
But it sure does make a difference if you have the ability to implement it correctly. And your facility allows that to happen. So if there's someone interested in golf performance, having the access to the technology that you guys have. You have a simulator on property,
We do.
a nice one. You have staff that are also trained in TPI that also have a athletic training background.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have, and this is not a knock to anyone that's certified in TPI in one of the different disciplines, but if you go see a golf pro, which you could be a golf pro certified in TPI and maybe specialize in the swing, but you want to create more power, somebody like Ty is going to be much more appropriate or able to show you how to generate power than a golf pro who's never learned about rotation or generating speed or anything like that. So
And ultimately, it just comes back to our principles of everyone. We jokingly say we stay in our lane, right? I could train someone, but yes, Ty McRae is one of our lead strength coaches.
Yeah.
He's who does pretty much all of our programming for our rotational athletes in the golf world. And he's very good at making people fast and powerful.
Yeah.
And
it helps when you're being instructed by someone who is fast and powerful. It matters, right?
Sure.
I don't want my chiropractor to walk in, hurting. Like I want him to be well and physically fit, and just it makes a difference to me as a consumer.
Sure.
So it's a really neat product that you guys offer. So if there's people out there that are interested in improving their golf game, that's obviously a really cool resource that they could reach out to you. And
appreciate that.
Yeah. So, all right. So we covered the hyperbaric, which I had no idea about. TPI I did know about, and I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah.
What the students? Let's talk about some of the, without violating HIPAA or anything. What are some athletes that you have gotten, like different sports athletes you've gotten a chance to work on? Just kind of, that's pretty cool.
We actually did a presentation a few weeks back and had to kind of put on a slide all the different leagues and different things. And, we've worked with folks from professional bull riders to pickleball.
You can check what was that episode? 2 episodes ago. One of those bull riders was with us.
Yeah,
so.
I've heard of them. I've heard of
Austin,
them.
baby.
Disc golf to professional dance and cheerleading to NFL, live golf, PGA, some of the funnest ones, man, I'm trying to think, obviously baseball and, tennis are fun. I always joke that, yes, the pro athletes are fun, and they're the glitzy and glamorous folks, but I get probably just as much kind of satisfaction out of working with an elite level high school and especially the college. And no offense to my pros, but at the younger age, I think we have a little bit more impact on them. They're a little bit more open to new suggestions, new ideas. Yes, variety's great, but we're very blessed to kind of work with folks from kind of all over the spectrum.
Yeah, and I know your heart too. I mean, just the average Joe or Jill that walks in the door, helping them, I know that matters just as much to you guys too. But I always find it interesting when I say, I'm watching television and I inside track know him. That guy was.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. I could tell you multiple stories, and I express this to my team all the time that, Grandma Sue coming in, can easy to blow her off. But guess what? When you help Grandma Sue, you don't realize that Grandma Sue's grandson is the next Peyton Manning or this or that. And so trying to just provide great care to whoever's in front of you, and just know that, you'll get into the different arenas that you want to be in.
Yeah, and you guys do that without a doubt. Let's talk about, I know of a couple things that you got to do through this business that I would consider, for me, once in a lifetime kind of experiences, but where has this business taken you that you never would have imagined, or maybe you did, but you still think it's pretty impressive that you were able to get to that stage?
I don't know.
Let's start with the Open.
So crazy story, but again, it's just small world, this sports more rehab and performance world. But yes, have had the opportunity the last 7 years actually to be part of the recovery and rehab team that basically services the U.S. Opens, from men's, women's, senior men's, senior women's, and the amateur. And obviously I don't do all those events, but we kind of have a team across the world that they kind of pick and choose the chiro, the physical therapist, the AT, the massage therapist. And so Dr. Jeff Poplarski is based actually out of Bethpage Black, where the Ryder Cup just was. He's a chiro and just, man, very influential in the golf and performance world. And so he offered me a position many years ago. And so get to go spend a week with the best of the best. Now, again, a lot of these elite players, they have their own teams that travel. So you get to work with some of the not lower end, but maybe people that don't have the teams.
Sure.
Or a lot of times it's working with the caddies or the marshals and different people like that during those weeks. So it's at some of the best golf courses in the world for a week. So
let us look behind the curtain with you. What is that day? What is that week?
Yeah. It's not as glamorous as you think, especially if you're working with players. So when I travel with some of our players, if you have the early tee time, like you're starting warm-ups at 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're there before, getting everything set up, getting them ready for their tee off. And then some players like you to walk with them on the course for the 18 holes. Others don't care if you go take a nap. And then guess what? As soon as they're done, you're now doing your recovery, your cool down. Maybe you're doing a workout session. And if they didn't have a great game or round, now you're on the practice range with them, bounding balls for a couple hours. So you're probably not getting out of there till 6, 8 o'clock at night. And then, so it's a 12 or 14 hour day.
Wow.
But again, that's what we sign up for.
It's a neat experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you there? I know there's a trailer that there's a trailer for like clubs. There's a trailer like Fitment. There's for each brand, but there's a trailer for like there's a rolling gym.
Yep. So they have the trailer, and most of the different organizations, they supply like a staff physio. But then most of the players travel with their own team. So then you have a separate rehab area. You might use the trailer, or you might use a separate rehab area just with your guy or multiple guys, depending on the situation.
Any other events or things you got to be a part of that would?
Some other fun ones, man. A lot of the college events are enjoyable. Football, Saturdays are fun. A couple of years ago, got to go down and actually do some assessments with some NASCAR pits crews.
Really?
And so people don't realize that those guys are literally typically former collegiate athletes, football, baseball players.
Yeah, they are
elite, and they train like athletes.
It is wild to watch them train. I'm actually going to Saturday. South Boston's having a race, and we were invited down. So
that's awesome. I
get to be a part of the Ward Burton Foundation deal on behalf of the center here. But you're right, man. Those guys on the pit crew, I mean, what do you think one of those wheel and tire combos weigh? I mean, I'm sure you probably were told.
It's hundreds of pounds, and they're slinging it around, like
throwing it around, and jumping over jack stands, and they are, to watch them work. They're legit athletes, and they practice.
Oh, they practice and they train every day.
Right. And the drivers do too. And,
But seconds are the difference between winning and losing.
100%. So NASCAR. So are you still, at one point in time, you were on the sidelines at Liberty. I know that. Are you still, is that part of your role still?
That role's continuing to grow and have the opportunity to work with some really good people in a lot of different sports. We'll be there on Saturday.
Nice.
But probably the biggest highlight is our intern program. I'm sure you see it here. So a big kind of strategy, or really a kind of a passion that we have, is for education. So that's why strategically Institute's part of our name. And so we have a big intern program where we have, each year probably 30 to 40 students, from undergrads up to DPT and chiro med students that come through our practice. And just having the opportunity to show them maybe a different way of looking at movement, looking at rehab, how we can interact as a collaborative group. That's probably honestly the highlight. rolling into work every day and just seeing folks from all different stages of the learning process. That gets me out of bed every day.
I'm always impressed too. I've seen a little bit of it via like just snapshots or pictures, or when I was there kind of looking over someone's shoulder, but you take the time, and I know multiple people do training there, but you make sure training is important at your facility. And I've seen that firsthand, and you bring everybody together for regular training, which is super important, and keeping your staff and your team at a top level. So kudos to you for, piloting the ship like that. That's important. So,
appreciate that.
Okay, let's, what am I missing for like either the business or the experience that the business has? I mean, you covered a good amount of stuff, but I'm sure there's something I don't know, or.
I'd be remiss if I didn't share that my co-pilot, my wife, Nicole, definitely couldn't do this without her. She's our CEO. She gets to do all the stuff that I don't enjoy doing. But she's also the person, the voice of reason, and man, just brings fun and energy when sometimes it's easy for us, especially males, to get kind of beat down and get emotional and sometimes forget the big picture. So she's a huge part of our team as well.
Yeah, she's special. Thank God for good women in our lives. I've got one too.
Canadian women, right?
Yeah,
she's American actually. So
yeah,
mine is. Yours is Canadian.
Yeah, I went down a different path there, but we'll leave that alone. So how long have you been married?
We have been married 18 years.
18 years.
18 years. And
it flies by, doesn't it?
It does. It's been a lot of.
And did you meet her in school?
So ironically, actually, we both went to Liberty around the same time, ran in the same circles, but didn't know each other. Both left and then actually came back.
To Liberty?
Came back to Lynchburg to work.
To Lynchburg, got you.
And then we connected. Ironically, and you'll appreciate this, it was a church mixer. And it was just down the road at, what's the name of the farm just up the street? They do like gatherings on the other side of 29. Oh, man. But it was supposed to be a hay ride.
Okay.
Well, the tractor broke down.
Okay.
So it turned into a hay walk. And so they had more time to talk and connect, and here we are. So,
18 years later.
Yeah.
Now, am I making this up, or was she nursing?
No.
Okay.
No,
I can't remember what her background
business,
was. Business. Okay.
Yeah.
I could
jokingly say she has more education than most people I know, but she can't do surgery.
Okay.
Yeah. No. She's a lifetime student, very passionate about education, and business marketing is kind of her expertise.
Nice. I'm not sure I realized she was a part of the business, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know that I realized that.
Yeah.
And that's good that it's a good thing, not a challenging thing.
No,
sometimes working with your spouse can be.
I've heard that, but honestly, I couldn't imagine working with anyone else. I don't know if it would work quite as well.
I think that's awesome. That's probably the way it should be. But
yeah. I mean, she might say something different.
We'll have her on another day and get her side of the deal.
Yeah.
And we mentioned earlier you're a father.
Absolutely. So 14-year-old daughter. Yeah. 9th grade. Lex is awesome. Keeps us on our toes. But yeah.
Being a girl dad is special.
That's right. You got I got my bracelet.
You got your,
somewhere.
I was sitting here twiddling my.
Yeah. So
she said, "Dad, will you put this on a keychain?"
Yeah.
And I was in the truck and I'm trying to do better. And I was like, my typical response would be, "Yeah, I'll just stick it in the glove box." And I said, "You know what? I'll try to do you one better." And I tied it on right there, and I'll wear it till it falls off. And all of them gave me this. Graham, their initials are in the inside of it, I think.
That's cool.
But it checks me from time to time. Reese is 11, so you've got a couple years on me, but it definitely opens your eyes up to a different aspect of life when you have a girl. And because I was an only child, so I don't even know what siblings are like.
Right.
I know you've got siblings, but just seeing the world through her eyes and trying to appreciate that better. Because when I'm tired and it doesn't make sense, I still need to pay attention.
Absolutely.
I still need to care.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, watch me do this. It might be the dumbest new saying or movement or whatever that's going on, but I still need to be a girl dad and care
Absolutely.
and stop what I'm doing and pay attention. So
Yeah, I struggled with that for a while, but we've worked through it, and actually, she'll call me out on it if I don't put the phone down. So
good.
It's been good. It's been good.
Good.
Absolutely.
So you, mentioned you had siblings, so you've still have family in the area.
I do. Yeah, both my brother and sister came down. I was the oldest of three, and they followed down. They both actually met locals and married.
It's a weird way that happens. This place is like
vortex.
a Venus flytrap.
Oh yeah, it pulls you in,
especially for Canadians.
but we love it. Parents also retired down here.
Yeah,
have some land out in Good. So it's yeah. The Lord has kind of took care of that for us. So
that's awesome. So we covered business, we covered family. What's your current golf index right now? What's your handicap?
Yeah, man, I can be really good and really bad.
You want to tell them about our outing we had the other day?
Absolutely, it was a blast and like 30-mile-per-hour winds
and spitting rain.
Yes. But no, it's enjoyable. Actually, on my way down here, I may have been texting and driving, but had to book my tee time for Lex and I for Sunday.
Oh, you're taking her out?
Yeah, we play. Honestly, she gets upset if I go out with the guys. So we play.
Oh wow,
man, at least every other week.
Really?
So
how is she doing with that? Is she?
She's at first was very anti, and so I didn't push it for years. And it was just like the last year and a half. She's like, "Dad, I want to play."
Oh, that gives me hope because Reese has little to no interest.
No, that's how it was for a while. And I'm like, I just wanted something that we could do together. And obviously I love golf.
Yeah.
And so she's taken to it. You know, she's still all over the place, and she wants me to record every shot that she takes. And of course, the ones I don't record are the best ones.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really enjoyable. So we're having fun with that together.
I was talking to Reese in the truck the other day about it. She was like, she's just finishing up fall softball, and it was kind of a hectic fall season. It turned into travel ball, which it wasn't supposed to, but they didn't have enough teams to play. So we were going to different counties to play teams just to make it work. But there's something to be said about being able to go do a sport together versus sitting in a bag chair watching them play. I'll always do that if I can, but going and doing it together. And I was trying to explain to her how cool it will be if she can carry on golf, because it's so it opens up so many doors for you. I mean, and you can play it forever. Yeah. And I was like, you really need to. She's like, well, I think I want to ride horses. And I'm like, well, that's fine too. And we can do that together. But I was, my heart was like, please end up liking this. That gives me some hope knowing that she ended up liking it a little bit as she matured into the
we'll see
idea. I hope so.
Yeah.
So you guys get out and play almost like once a week.
You know, at least every other week if we're in town.
That's awesome.
If we're in and around, it's cooling off a little bit, and it's a little busier now in the fall sports season, but try and take advantage.
Very cool. Are there plans to expand the practice? I mean, the practice is pretty big. What does that look like what does the practice look like 10 years from now? Yeah.
I call it controlled chaos.
Okay.
And so again, this new, it was scary, right? Leaving an existing practice, security,
comfortability,
no idea if anyone's even going to follow, And so thankfully people followed, and I jokingly say people found me that I didn't even let them know. And, but as we've grown, it's, how do you maintain consistency, quality? And that's been our biggest thing. And again, we have great people. And so our system seems to be kind of working, but
I'd say so.
People always think, when are you going to expand, get a bigger building? I'm like, bigger's not always better.
Yep.
And, when it comes to business, there's that tipping point of you get to a certain point and, okay, now if we go to the next rung, things get more expensive.
Sure.
A lot more costs and, expenses and things like that. And so trying to refine some of that now and just kind of get everyone up to where they need to be is kind of where we're at, and I think we're in a good place, and letting people try and get into the areas that they want to be in. So little specialties. So obviously golf and rotational athletes is kind of my world. We've got one of our therapists, Kate, that's got it going down the running world. We've got a couple of our PTs that are into the baseball, softball, rotational athlete world. Return to running, jumping, things like that. So that's been fun to really help people find their passion.
Yeah, your providers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then even our strength coaches too. Is
there something in the future? I don't know time limit, but is there something that you are not currently doing that you think, without like a spoiler alert, that you would like to add to the practice that you don't? Like maybe 5 years ago, you could have said hyperbaric chamber. Right.
We got a few things kind of.
You don't have to tell secrets, but
I don't think it's secret. We're always kind of brainstorming and open to opportunities. I always joke that, rarely have we had to actually like hire people. Like the right people just show up at the right time, and they bring their expertise or a new opportunity. So, just trying to be faithful and eyes open and, follow what the Lord has. So
let's talk about, share with us a time or an experience like you look back and you go, man, if I could give someone starting a business up, because you're an entrepreneur and you've done it well, and you have worked for others in the same field. What advice could you give to an entrepreneur, a young person in college, a middle-aged person getting ready to go out on their own and make that leap like you did? Share some wisdom there, because I'm sure you've...
So the piece of advice that I always give, especially our folks trying to get into the field, is don't take the easy road.
Okay.
We all have to do internships and observation and try and get out into the fields. And it's very cozy to just, it's just down the road, so I'll do this. Or this place I'm familiar, I'll just go hang out there because I know them. And I probably fell into that too. Whereas if I would have maybe pursued some more challenging internships, met some people out in the field, taken me out of my comfort zone, I might even been a little bit farther ahead than I was. Now, again, I think there's also positives to learning, right? Trial by fire, as they say. But I think going into that uncomfortable early and finding that mentor or those groups of people that can help come alongside you so they don't have to make all the same mistakes that you and I did. I think those are the two biggest pieces of advice that I would give.
Yeah. And I mean, whether you're picking a career path or going out on your own, I mean, there will be times where you fall flat on your face and times you feel like you succeed. But to me, I think that's in business, that's kind of part of the deal. It's part of the story you get to tell. And
calculated risk.
Calculated risk is probably...
Do your homework. Right? Just don't wing it. And I think the other in the rehab and performance, it's very easy for us to go, like everyone sees our big fancy facility and like, wow, they don't see where we started.
It's true.
A little 1,000 square foot, little ghetto hitting mat up in a, 200 square foot space. So it's not all about the glitz and glamour. Yeah, that's cool. And we get to do some really awesome things, but it didn't start that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true for many things. They see where you are now, but they don't know where you came from. And it's easy to take for granted or assume something about a particular person or their practice or their business. But it's nice to know the front side of it, and you and grow with. I'm sure your clients who started with you or may still be with you or come back appreciate it. And
well, what have you guys seen here? Like, you didn't start with this beautiful building.
Well, I would not advise people to go through our model of reconstruction, with the fire. But, when adversity comes, we teach our guys here this in Resilience God Style class, which is the first class they go through. We try to teach them resilience. So we say, look, the storms of life are going to come. Trials are going to come. They're either hurricanes or tornadoes. Tornadoes come in the middle of the night. You don't even have time to put your clothes on, your shoes on, and it just blows your house down. Hurricanes you can kind of see coming from a ways away, and you can plan for them. But teaching our patriots, and you can teach this to anyone, how to be resilient and how to build these tools and these processes beforehand so that when the storms of life do come, you're ready. Or you can call upon the resources and the things you have around you to manage it. Because you don't get to choose.
Right.
You know, we're all going to have things that come and smack us right in the mouth with life. And what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
If you don't have that resiliency built up, if you don't have that staff in place that are sold out and bought in and support you, you know, you could be in bad shape.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. What else? Let's dig deep here. Or we've got a little longer to go if you want to. So, what have I not covered?
I guess the only other, part of my journey was also getting the opportunity to be a professor.
That's right.
And so I think getting to see young people and try and instill in them some wisdom or maybe show them all the mistakes that we made. I think that's also been an opportunity, and obviously at Liberty and that environment has been really cool. We have a great department, the exercise science department, allied health department.
One day I'm gonna figure out how to get in there with you or someone like that. Place is. Let's go there. Talk about some of the things that someone would go, what in the world is because I know a few things that are over there that would just blow the average person's mind. I mean, when Liberty does it, it's first class all the way.
Yeah.
So,
man, I don't even know where to start. Basically, from the training rooms that basically have every piece of rehab equipment possible to, our aeronautics, flight simulators to our altitude chambers and, force plates and motion capture cameras and.
Isn't there like an aquatics? I remember there was something like some kind of.
Yeah, the natatorium, obviously, where the swim team.
Yeah.
So basically, it's as nice a swimming pool, competition pool as you can imagine. They've got the diving platforms, probably 40 foot high.
But isn't there I was talking to a friend of mine, Clark, Glover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of the physical therapists.
Yeah, there was something over there he was telling me a while back. It's been so long I forgot, but I want to say it's like some type of support system that you can run or rehab on. It's either water based or the sling or something like that. Or am I making that up?
We have a couple. So we have underwater treadmills.
That's underwater treadmills.
Multiples with cameras and.
That's crazy.
For gait analysis, return to sport, maybe after ankles, knees, hip stuff. But we also have a treadmill that basically has air pockets. It's called an alter gravity treadmill. So it can basically take you from full body weight up to fractions of your body weight. So it doesn't change your gait if you're limping or have some type of ailment.
It just allows you to do it without pain.
Yeah, basically it looks like you put it on and it's almost like a wetsuit. Okay. It goes up and then it's this basically air chamber that fills up. So it's almost like you're floating as you're running.
I can imagine how I had an opportunity at a rehab facility that I was working at to get in a more rudimentary version of one of those.
Okay, yeah.
And it was uncomfortable and it wasn't nice, but it was to support a patient to allow them to walk, not to analyze, just literally to get them range of motion and walking.
Yeah.
And I swear I've seen pictures of those two things. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're used to it.
Yeah.
Like this facility, like people say you ride in an indoor arena with dustless sand. Yeah. But I forget, there are underwater treadmills with cameras analyzing the gait pattern, allowing an athlete. I mean, that's there's probably not another one of those in this area for sure.
Not in this area, no. It's college athletics, and again, we're trying to train up our next, generation of young people that are going to be experts in the field, and so they've got to train up in the the most relevant equipment
and
technology.
The athletes get the benefit of that too.
Absolutely.
Gosh, you wonder. I'm old enough to a lot of that stuff came out in our adult lifetime. So you wonder if the students realize just how cool it is, what they get to experience, and the athletes get the benefit of that too. I wonder if I hope they appreciate.
I think deep down they do.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean,
they're very grateful, and they're great people to work with. Yeah. It's a pleasure and an honor to kind of come alongside them.
That's awesome. Yeah, that facility, like I said, it's a whole nother another level.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't think of anything else that I'm missing, we can start to wrap this thing up.
Absolutely.
But you covered everything, and then a couple of things I forgot I wanted to ask you. So
Yeah. No.
so let's plug the business then one more time. Virginia Sport and Spine.
Yeah.
It's in Windhurst on the 221 side, or Enterprise.
Yeah. Our main facilities in Windhurst, and then we have our second location is actually down the road, 29 in Chatham, Virginia.
See, I'm not sure I realized that either.
Yeah.
So there's a Chatham location.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we kind of team up with the FMS folks. So we have a fully functioning clinic
Very cool.
there. So
Okay.
yeah, and a great team that's down there as well.
So from sports medicine to chiropractic to what are the other?
Physical therapy.
Physical therapy,
Nutrition,
nutrition.
hyperbaric oxygen therapy, motion capture, and things of that nature. And then obviously our strength conditioning, performance training.
And they can find this online.
Yeah, www.vassi.org.
And do you guys have a Facebook page?
We do, Facebook and Instagram. So we
Got it covered.
We do a decent job with the whole social media world, but again, it's yes. So great team. Whether it's coming to see what we do, shadow students that want to come and practicum internships. We have an internship application on our website, or obviously if you need help with any of your aches and pains or sports that you're participating in, love to try and help.
That's very cool. Yeah, as a patient previously, I can speak so highly, and as a friend, check them out and go get well. I mean, it's not fun to be in pain or not performing correctly, so you guys are offering a service to fix that. So take full advantage of it.
Cool.
So, well, I appreciate you being on. I think this was I actually learned more than I thought I was going to learn, so I appreciate that. And we always close every podcast out with prayer. Absolutely. And so I'll give you the opportunity if you want to close us in prayer. And
love it.
And
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for Bobby and just all the staff and volunteers and what they're doing here at this Center for Veterans, and just their passion and their heart to give back. And so continue to bless them and all the folks that they get to interact and serve, Lord. And we just give you all the honor and glory in your name. Amen.
Amen. Well, this is episode 7 of Tall on the Saddle podcast, and we will be back with episode 8 hopefully next week when Jake returns from Mar-a-Lago, or wherever he is in Palm Springs. He's down in Florida, so that's why it was just 2 of us today. But catch us next episode of Tall on that Saddle podcast, and once again, thanks to Jeff for sitting down with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you guys.